Namaste and welcome to Book Talk with Dr. Sanjeev Chopra and his book on Lal Bahadur Shastri, the Great Conciliator. You can hold up your book another time if you don't mind. Yes, congratulations. Wonderful book. It's coming out in Hindi as well. And, last time you spoke about this little cup of milk that Shastri's wife, Lalita ji, was urged to consume because they were so poor. Can you tell us something about Shastri's own contribution to, the White Revolution, which came to be called Operation Flood, though it took off after his death in the 70s with Kurian and other people. But I
No,
believe Amul had already been founded. I
yeah,
think,
you see, the
yeah.
point is that what he did was, that he went and spent a night in the village, because unlike most chief guests who would come inaugurate a plant and go back, and that led to a big furor there because just a few months ago the chief minister's plane had been shot by the Pakistanis. If you recall, the CM of Gujarat had been, the aeroplane had been shot down, the helicopter had been shot down. So there was a lot of concern that how can the prime minister just decide to go and stay in a village. So Kurian said that you leave it to me, and the Home Secretary was also his friend. They said, okay, there's no point in announcing that he's going to be there. He's going to come, and I'll take him to the house of one of the chairpersons of the local cooperative. So he went and stayed with a person called Punjab Rao Patil, most probably Patil. So he was staying in his house.
Probably Patel, then Patel.
Yeah, sorry, Patel.
It's okay.
Punjab Rao Patel. And you want me to check up, or we can just...
No, it's all right. It's all right.
So it doesn't affect this. So he stayed the night there, and when he was staying the night there, he talked to women, he talked to the Dalits, he talked to everybody in the village, and he was very impressed with the fact that any person can go and deliver milk. That it could be a child, it could be a woman, it could be this, and the very transparent way in which the milk was being collected. And so he was very impressed with what Dr. Kurian had done. And he asked Dr. Kurian that, look, I want to replicate this throughout the country. And in fact, then Kurian said that I've got two conditions. Number one, that I'm not moving out of this place. I want you to have the headquarters of NDDB in Anand, because I don't want to work in Delhi. This is where my thing is. And secondly, I'll continue to be an employee of this milk unit. I do not want to be an employee of the Government of India. The Government of India can give funds to NDDB, but I want to continue to be an employee of this place. And Shastri says that, look, I've got so many bright IAS officers, but they have not been able to run the dairying sector in UP. And he says, because they are your employees. This union runs because I am an employee of the farmer producer, and he is the boss. And I think that was a very important point. And one would give full credit to Tribhuvan Das Patel ji also, because it was that visionary leadership. I mean, you see, in fact, that brings me back to what I've been saying many times, that you need, in order for an organization to be successful, you need the Prabhu Satta, you need the Prabhu Shakti, you need the Mantrana Shakti, and you need the Utsaha Shakti. Actually, it's only when these three come together that an organization will run well. You could have just Prabhu Shakti, just the sovereign power, just the grand power, but without mantrana, you cannot succeed. You have mantrana and you have Prabhu Shakti, but you don't have utsah. You don't have, you don't have young people, you don't have young blood. When I say young, I don't mean people who are physically young, but people who are mentally young, mentally alert. So that is the rare combination which should be there. So that's what happened here also. There was the Prabhu Shakti, there was the Matrana Shakti, and there was Utsaha Shakti. That is, and I feel so happy and so proud about, Amul. It's the world's largest milk brand. I mean, between 95 to 100,000 crores. That's the sort of turnover which we have. And
Yes.
it was followed by Nandini, which is the Karnataka Milk Federation, which was followed by Verka. I mean, the private sector, the country, all the Nestlés of the world, they are way behind the cooperative sector. And it is because of this that, today, the price of milk in the country, there are two prices. There is the top line, that is the price at which the consumers get milk. But more important than that is the bottom line, the price at which milk is procured. And that gap is narrowing with every passing year. You see, so if today milk is being sold at 72 rupees a litre in India, the farmer is getting 48 to 50 rupees. which is very, very good. And mind you that, after that milk has to be brought, it has to be processed, it has to be, packaged, it has to be transported. But the fact is that because of this, the producer price in India is doing very well. And therefore, the farmers of India are especially the milk farmers. In fact, that is one reason why dairying and horticulture and fisheries and other things and poultry is doing better, because India is moving away from core cereal agriculture to what we now call the high value agriculture. And that is the transition that the nation has to make, because we're already producing 360 MT of food. I mean, so
Yeah.
we don't need that much food, but we do need more milk, we need more eggs,
Yes.
we need more
Protein.
mango,
Yes.
strawberries,
Yes.
more, so that's the transition which has started happening.
So Shastri, you say, also contributed to the Green Revolution, though again it took place much
Exactly.
after his
Last
time.
time also, no, the Green Revolution. In fact, I must tell you, that there were two parallel projects going on. You see, the Soviets were trying to push in the very large models, the very large models. In fact, the Soviets said that, what do you do because the US model, incidentally, was based on the land grant university. They were still looking at, mid-sized farms. I mean, even they could not have imagined the sort of, 1 hectare farm that we have. But they were looking at mid-sized farm. But Soviets were looking at collectivization. Therefore, when the Soviets were looking at our agriculture, they were recommending a different model. They were recommending that you cut out all this and you have very large farm and let the state take up the state up agricultural production as well, which would have been absolutely, absolutely, absolutely disastrous.
Disastrous. Yeah.
And that is what Charan Singh pointed out and said that, look, wherever you tried it in China, you tried it in Tanzania, wherever you tried collectivization, it does not work. So I think the report which Shastri had given earlier, which last time we mentioned as the Congress Agrarian Commission report, I think that laid the foundations of FCI, that laid the foundations of CACP, that laid the foundations of all our modern marketing system. And that is how it took off, because, give the farmer water, that is irrigation, give the farmer credit, give the farmer fertilizer, and give him marketing support, and it's a miracle. And somewhere I mentioned it, that miracle is just hard work. And what is a miracle? A miracle is hard work done in the right direction with the right vision. That is a miracle. And miracles don't occur like a manna from heaven. But the Indian Green Revolution is actually a miracle. In fact, it's a success story from a
Yes.
country which had been written off. It was,
Yes.
in
Yes.
fact, in the US debate, they said it's like the triage case. It's so,
Yeah.
and it sinks because
PL 480. I still remember PL 480. But there was the other aspect of the Green Revolution, which was these seeds, which Borlaug and MS
yes.
Swaminathan and others also, because without those seeds, I don't think we could have increased our
No, it was
production.
the entire package of practice. It was the entire package of practices which were there. I mean, because before that, you see, let me put it like this: that we've had phases of. You see, first phase, it was only area expansion. You expand the area, but there's a limited amount that you can do with area expansion. Then was the technology aspect, which is what was brought in. So you bring in technology, and that technology, because all these are related, because you cannot have these new seeds unless you have water. If you have seeds and water but no credit, you won't work it. If you have seeds and credit and water and fertilizer and you produce a lot, then prices will get depressed. So you needed a complete 360-degree package to handle this. And, interestingly, look at it this way: the first office of FCI was in the south. I mean, the people who led the Green Revolution were both from Tamil Nadu, and the secretary was from Odisha. So it was Sivaraman, the secretary, it was Swaminathan, and it was C.
Swaminathan, yeah.
Subramanian, and it was Shastri. So let's say it
Yeah.
was the four. All of them were S's, who, names starting there. So, but the point is that it was a real transformation, and that is which led to prosperity. And when it suddenly, and it, you could see that prosperity can happen, that agriculture, in fact, I must highlight here that some of the most important milestones. One is that this green revolution which took place in Punjab, Haryana, Western UP at that time. Second major transformation in India was when the left came to power in Bengal, and D. Bandyopadhyay implemented the Operation Barga. and the boro crop, that is the third crop in the year, started. So Bengal became self-sufficient in food. Well, West Bengal became self-sufficient in rice after decades. After decades, and that was in the 80s. And I happened to be in West Bengal at that time as a young officer, and the sort of joy and pleasure in seeing the state being able to produce adequate paddy for itself was there. Then you had the Narmada. You see, when Gujarat got Narmada, that is again the time when you had 8 to 10% growth in agriculture, because the entire barren land was suddenly transformed. You've had this
Correct.
great movement of transformation during the Indira Gandhi Kina, and you've had
Yes.
this great transformation in Gujarat when BT cotton, Gujarat and Maharashtra when BT cotton came in. So we've had certain spurts of rapid agricultural growth in the country. Whenever we've been able to do this, technology manifest or this irrigation manifest, and if we can get all of this act together,
Together.
that's
Yeah.
something that we. In fact, I must mention here that
Yes.
next time you should talk to me about edited volume that I'm doing. It's called
Yes.
"Produced in India, Feed the World."
No,
You
that's
know,
fantastic. You are an expert in
so
agriculture. So
so
none better than you to speak on agriculture. In fact, that's why we spend so much time on this. Of course, there's a lot of criticism of the FC, Food Corporation of India, and the wastage and, tremendous problems there. And now overproduction and the, fixed price that we have to, the floor price we have to give, especially the wealthy farmers. There's all these issues which came up in the protests, farmers' protests and all that last time. But we're moving ahead of our mandate, which is on Shastri. So
yes, I'm sorry.
I
I mean,
wanted to,
we
no
got
worries. I wanted to end this episode on, how Shastri, in his brief tenure as Prime Minister of India, faced some of the greatest challenges of the young republic. You know, Gandhi had died already in 48. We've had an invasion in Kashmir. Then we had the Chinese invasion, which in a sense broke Nehru. And now suddenly there was a war with Pakistan. Again, forced on us, brief war. I guess it was only 21 days. So can you tell us
There is
about that? And
there's a
we were
little point
also
I must mention. You see,
yes,
big issue is that whether the war started on 5th August or whether it started on 3rd September. You see, we've always had this position, and that is why, incidentally, when Mr. Modi abolished 370, it was on 5th August. There's a symbolic, there's some important symbol about the 5th of August. You see, the infiltration had started by Pakistan. Pakistan had started the infiltration on 5th August. So India has always held the view that that is when the war started. Pakistan takes the view that when India crossed the LOC, when India crossed the ceasefire line on 3rd September, when our troops moved towards Lahore, they say that that is when war started. We say that no, you started the war when you sent in your infiltrators into Kashmir on the 3rd of thing. And I must tell you that I mean, they all thought. I mean, they really thought that they would have
Shastri
everything.
was a pushover. They thought Shastri would be a pushover.
Yeah, and they never really realized, So there's very interesting thing that I've got here, where Bhutto had sort of thought that he'll be taking over the country like this, and they'll just be moved. So in fact, I must tell you that they had this. So what they told their media, what they told Dawn was something like this, and I'm quoting. They had already. Let me read. So the Pakistani media kept the narrative fed to them by the ISI, and the most prominent newspaper, Dawn, published from Karachi, had the following headlines. And these are the headlines that they're giving from 10th to 13th of August. And that has all been thought of by the ISI. The ISI has told them these are the headlines that you have to give. So 10th August, the headline says, Revolutionary Council takes overall authority in held Kashmir. That's what they have announced. No taxes to puppet regime, collaborators to be shot, Hartal has been observed. 11th August, patriots cut the Srinagar Jammu road. That's Dawn has already reported this. Liberation plan unfolded. Revolutionary Council decree. and this is attributed to their correspondent dateline Muzaffarabad. So he is writing
My
from
goodness.
Muzaffarabad saying this has happened. 12th August, Baramulla Brigade headquarters attacked. Srinagar sealed off. 12 roads, communication cut. 13th August, held Kashmir towns under curfew. Srinagar isolated from Baramulla. Leh convoy ambushed bridges. Army camp destroyed. So I mean, they had sort of decided that on 15th, 14th August, which was their Independence Day,
They would liberate
know,
Kashmir, so to speak. Yeah.
have, but it was totally different from what was actually happening on the ground, because on the ground, as I told you, the Jammu, there was these herders who came and reported that, some people who don't look like us, they've been there. So Jammu Kashmir police arrested them and took them to the Punjab police, which was manning the border, and the rest is history. So in about half an hour's time, the Punjab police got the entire truth
Plot.
of
Yeah.
the.
Yeah.
So, so we have to be very. I mean, Punjab police also deserves a little credit in getting the truth out. So it's so what happens is that we have to probe slightly deeper into history. It is all very easy to say this happened and that happened, that happened. So I think that is what we need to see. What was the process? And in fact, as I mentioned here, that Pakistan had real problems internally, because they
Yes.
had the Shia Sunni problem, they had the problem within their generals, and because their lead general was an Ahmadiyya, and they did not
Yes.
want to give any credit to him, therefore they did not let him continue with the attack. So Ayub Khan brought in Yahya Khan,
Yes.
and that
Yes.
1 day's gap was disaster for Pakistan. So
No, but
sometimes
tell us about Shastri's leadership during this
yeah,
very crucial
the
period.
Shastri's position all throughout was very clear. One, and I think these are important things. One, a very regular communication with the opposition, a very regular communication with the
He
chief
brought
minister.
everybody together.
Get
I
everybody
remember.
together.
Yeah.
See, that is the important.
Even RSS, Guruji was also invited.
So, that is the point. The point is that it is not that I am fighting the war. And so he actually was able to get all the opposition parties together. He got all the chief ministers together. He was in regular touch with the army, Air Force, Navy, all his top secretaries. I mean, reaching out to people, meeting the ambassadors, and doing everything that could have been done to build a consensus. You see, he was very good at radio talks. I mean, when he would communicate his on the radio, he would do very well. So he would go to the radio stations and he would
His
talk
Man Ki
to
Baat.
people.
Shastri's Man Ki Baat.
Man Ki Baat, right? Yes. So I think these are all the things which really, and building the entire rapport for this country and making this country feel that In fact, there's the whole thing that before the war, people were not really impressed with him. That they felt that Nehru was a tall, platonic figure, and here was this earthy,
Towering figure.
towering figure, and he was this young, earthy man. But after the war, he became one of the greatest heroes India's ever seen.
Yes. So on that note, we will end this episode, but we invite you to join us soon for our concluding episode on this book. Wonderful book. Thank you, Dr. Chopra, for joining us. Viewers, please like and share and subscribe to our channel and send us your comments, and do buy the book. Thank you and see you soon. Namaste.